Hello, everybody. It's Heather here.
Yeah, it's Deb. Hello.
This is episode 10, yay, of Reluctantly Woo Woo.
We're in
And
double digits.
we're in the double digits. Yay. Yay. For anybody who's been following this, or if you're listening to the podcast, we are slowly but surely plugging along. And just we are in different time zones and both have busy lives, so it's challenging sometimes to be able to get on together, but we wanted to do this because we both come from this world of we call this reluctantly woo woo because the work that we do working on people and their energy work is stuff that really seems unbelievable, and it definitely defies logical mind, but somehow it works. And so at different capacities, Deb and I are reluctant about it, whether it's reluctant about like doing the work, whether it's reluctant about actually sharing that we do the work. Right? We are reluctantly woo-woo. And woo-woo, like I said, it's just like the term that a lot of people use for things that are not conventional, right? And a little bit out there, and that can't really be explained. And we really want to focus on helping people to be emotionally healthy. And what that means is just integrating parts of yourself that in past traumas so that you have no emotional or energetic charges when you talk about them. And that helping people to be in charge of their emotions and feelings. So that's what we're all about. And today we thought we've been talking about the body code and referencing it in all of our conversations. And some of you may have seen me do work, but we haven't yet on this, like in this specific platform, showed you how the body code works. So Deb said that she would be vulnerable and let me do some work on her so y'all can see it, which is kind of a win-win, right, Deb?
Yeah, this episode's all good for me. Yeah.
Right. Yep. So we didn't talk about this beforehand, about what specifically we're going to work on. So let me explain this before we jump in. So the body code is an app that I'm pulling it up on my phone right now that is basically helps you to identify and then release trapped emotions and trauma that are stuck in your body, in your energetic body. And it can help with pain. It can help with emotional trauma. It can help with beliefs. And so, excuse me, when I say that, there's a lot of different ways that we can go about this. And we want to give you just an example of what it looks like. And it's going to be abbreviated because when I work with people, it's like we can go in a little bit more depth than Deb and I may have the time here. But what specifically would you like to work on, Deb?
Yeah, so I think something I've been trying to personally, I don't like the word conquer, but focus on lately is my money mindset again. And I do want to point out that we've gone through a whole protocol with this, probably a couple of years ago now, but and I've seen amazing progress, but I just kind of am ready to, level up a little bit more. So working on that, and maybe you can pick and choose. The other was, you touched on it too, kind of the courage to step out of the spirituality closet. Right. And the woo-woo closet and talk more, really build this as my own business and kind of own it as something that really is who I am and what I want to do. So maybe there's a little bit of a courage block or something that I could push through, which I think both of those things are related. So I don't know how to encapsulate that so well. Maybe we just work on the courage block and that will conquer the maybe money block that seems happening right now.
Right. Yeah, and it'd be fun to go through because I want to just read through. We've last worked on the money stuff in December of 2018, right?
Yeah, well, it was almost 2 years ago.
Yep. And so I just want to read through some of these statements and just hear your reaction. I'm kind of a mess when it comes to my finances.
Oh, okay. I don't think that's necessarily true anymore.
Yeah. I love having money and nice things. There was some resistance against that.
Yes, I love money and nice things.
Yeah.
There's probably subconscious resistance because I don't have all the money and nice things.
But yeah, I'm meant to be wealthy so I can do more good in the world.
Do you have where I last was on that?
Well, so the way I'm doing work now is a little bit different than then. So, I mean, it's cleared then, right? Yeah. But Money flows to me easily and freely is one of the statements. Another one, I'm not great with money.
Yeah, that one I let go of.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just an idea. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other statements that we worked on. And the idea is to get it so that there's no energetic charge on ones that like are like something like I'm not great with money. And then with statements like money flows to me easily and freely, a lot of times we can have this like, oh, nope, don't think that. And we want to release whatever's blocking it so that you can be like, yeah, that's definitely like not an issue right now. So when we want to get a really clear and concise statement, and this is what can sometimes take the longest time, right, is when you think about, you said a couple different things, money, stuff, confidence, right? What is the emotion or feeling or belief that you want to have?
About money, self-confidence, or I think the statement that you read off from my previous stuff that resonated the most was I'm meant to be wealthy so I can do more good in the world. Because I do feel like that is specifically, I think, for anybody in the kind of wellness or kind of energy space,
right?
That we feel like it's something that shouldn't, not, I just think overall that there are many people who feel bad about charging for something like that we shouldn't take money for something like that. And I think that sometimes it's like a little in there still for me, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So then what we're going to work specifically on is the statement, I'm meant to be wealthy so I can do more good in the world. And I'm just going to put this statement up there just so that people can see. Now, obviously not going to be able to put everything that comes up, but, and so, and again, the way that I, as I've grown and doing this work, I've shifted in how I work on this, and a little bit different than some other body code practitioners. But first I ask, what's the energetic charge of the statement? And I just use muscle testing. And for anybody watching for the first time, muscle testing is very simple to explain. It's like you walk into a room and all of a sudden your body just relaxes and you're like, oh, this feels so good. Or if you walk into a room and you're like, oh, you tense up and you don't feel good, right? You didn't have to tell your body to do that. It just naturally did it, right? So your body is always responding. Your subconscious is always working without you having to tell it. And so muscle testing is essentially checking to see the strength of something. So Deb says, I'm meant to be wealthy so I can do more good in the world, and her body goes weak. It means that's not an alignment for her. And so first I'm going to ask Deb, do I have permission to connect to your energy?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to check what's the energetic charge of I'm meant to be wealthy so I can do more good in the world. Is it 0, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8? Okay, so it's an 8. So that's a good high number. 8. And then I always like to ask, is this misalignment, is it yours? Is it inherited or absorbed? Because we can, like, especially when it comes to money stuff, we can absorb so many stories from our family that aren't necessarily ours. Right?
Totally.
Right. And there's so many things. I think we talked about the book before. It Didn't Start With You. There's great book, highly recommend. Right. And a lot of times we carry this stuff and it's just stuff that's been passed down to us, and we haven't even been like, wait a minute, this isn't mine at all. So is the misalignment, is it yours? Is it inherited or absorbed? Is it inherited? Okay. And is it inherited from your mom, from your dad? Okay. It's inherited from your mom. And not surprising. Okay. And so anybody who, if you're watching this, you'll see me, I write this stuff down in a Google Drive document so that people, when I'm working with clients, that they can see it. But so I'm going back and forth between screens. So just bear with me on that. So I'm going to check, is this inherited from your mom? Did this go back more than 1 generation? Yes. 3, more than 5, more than 7. Does this go back 6 generations? Okay. So it went back 6 generations. And I'm going to ask if we need to know the origin of it. So we do not need to know the origin of it, right? And so then I like to check, how safe is it, right, to be able to release what's not in alignment, because we're never going to do anything if we don't feel safe. So with money stuff, if we don't feel like it's safe to actually have money, right, we're going to do everything we can to keep ourselves at a certain set point. Right? And it's not safe to have money is huge for so many people. because my family's always been, poor, or what is my family going to think of me if I have money, right? All of those things, it's like, it's going to put me in a vulnerable position. And so we want to make sure that your subconscious is safe first. So on a scale of 0 to 10, how safe is it to release what's not in alignment with this belief? Is it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4? So it's a 4. And as I'm saying this, I know Deb knows this, and anybody, I will say this 1,000 times over, is every time I do this work, and especially when people are watching, I'm always like, I can't believe I'm doing this stuff. I really can't. So let me see if I can get the screen. So the body code, it's so hard with this. You can see ring light is screwing things up. Yeah, but there's 6 different things that cause imbalances: energetics, pathogens, misalignments, circuits and systems, toxins, nutrition, lifestyle. And just using muscle testing, I'm going to ask, what's causing the imbalance, so that we can get this safety to a 4. So there's something that we can release. Okay, so the first thing that comes up is what's called an idea intolerance. And which is essentially what it sounds like, right? It sounds like you're intolerant to an idea that, and we're gonna come up, let's see what this is. And then just go on muscle testing off of a list that I have. So intolerant to the idea of contentment.
What? Damn it. Yeah, let's fix that.
Yes, please.
An interesting point, though, is that if you ask me on a conscious level if that is something I think is the case for me, I would be like, hell no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's like, again, like, and I'm like working while I'm, while we're talking, but this is why sometimes I'm always like, I don't know about this stuff. Right? And like, I just see results after results, with people that we have so much stuff subconsciously, that we may not know what it is. And there are times, even when I work on kids, I was working on a couple of kids this week, and stuff comes up and I'm like, oh, come on. Like, your kid's 2 years old. How is it even possible?
Right.
I don't know. I have I don't have answers, but I do know, like I got a message earlier from a mom, and she's like, she's doing things differently than she has. And she's like, thank you so much, just from the session that we had. And so I know that it works, but sometimes it's just like, this stuff seems ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Right. And I don't know if that's like, people are like, that's not a good selling point, Heather, but I'm like, I'm just being honest. So I check to see what's underlying of the idea intolerance, and that is there in your lumbar vertebrae 2. There is a trapped emotion of confusion. Okay. And so we want to release that. And so when we release an emotion, we want to set the intention. And then the idea is that your governing meridian, which is your main circuit board, it's like the motherboard that sends out to all other highways in your body, like your meridians are the highways in your body. And it runs, if you put a pen in your belly button and draw a line all the way up, and then your head down your spine, that it says governing meridian. And if we just set the intention, and then we can wipe, kind of like just taking a, if I took, and I have a credit card right here, and if I took a magnet and went over this line, right, it would erase that. So I can take either a magnet or just run my fingers over that governing meridian to release out that trapped emotion of confusion. I typically run it up my here instead of on my head, because it's messing up my hair. So now I look like I'm kind of touching myself inappropriately, but anyway, so did we release confusion? Yes. Okay. So is there another trapped emotion? Yes. So the trapped emotion of sadness, I'm going to release that. And is there another trapped emotion? No. So is there something else causing this idea intolerance? Yes. And so the next thing that comes up is what's called a no will to energy. And that's everything that it sounds like. It's at one point you just didn't have a will to do a certain thing. And let me just check. Okay, so it's this is interesting. So it's a no will to be seen.
To be seen.
To be seen, yes. Yep. And okay. And I'm going to ask, do we need to know anything more about that? No. Can we release it? Yes. And is there something else that's causing this idea intolerance? No. So can we release that? So we're just going to go ahead and release it. And again, different practitioners have different ways of releasing it. That's just the way that I do it. And so how safe is it to release what's not in alignment with the belief I'm meant to be wealthy so I can do more good in the world? 6, 7. So we're at a 7 now. So is there something else? Yes. Okay, so this is fun. So what's coming up now is what's called a post-hypnotic suggestion. And a post-hypnotic suggestion is when you hear something over and over again and it gets like stuck and hypnotized in your mind. And this can come from a movie or a song or video games or even an outside source like a human, that just keeps telling you the same thing over and over, and it just starts looping in your mind. And I'm going to check. And what's coming up is this is too much. And does that make any sense at all?
Definitely.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll check and see when this happened. So around the age of 17. And I'm just going to check in and see if we need to know anything more about that. No. Can we release it? Yes. And is there anything else that we can release to get this to a 10? Yes. Okay, so the next thing that's coming up is what's called a despair anchor. And a despair anchor is a negative statement that we say over and over again that our subconscious mind looks to satisfy or fulfill. And then like it's constantly like, people talk about like, if you believe that good things are going to happen, you're going to find good things to happen. If you believe bad things are going to happen, you're going to believe bad things are going to happen, right? So despair anchor, let's see what this is. Okay, is I'm powerless. This is the despair anchor. And do we need to know more about this? Yes. Okay, so we're going to check and see when it was. So around the age of 12 is when this happened. Okay, and can we release this? Yes. Okay, we're going to release that. Okay, and what would you like to replace that old despair anchor with?
If it was I'm powerless, I guess it would be I'm powerful, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's easy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I want you to say that out loud 3 times, and then afterwards just take a deep breath in, hold it for 3 seconds, and let out a big exhale.
Okay. I'm powerful. I'm powerful. I'm powerful.
Okay. So say that old one out loud and just notice how it feels.
Say I'm powerless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Yeah. Okay. So how safe is it to release what's not in alignment with this belief of I'm meant to be wealthy so I can do more good in the world? Okay, so that takes us to a 10. So we are at a scale of 0 to 10 as far as how safe is it to release it. We're at a 10. And so then I like to check how ready is the body to release it, because you can feel safe, right, to do something, but you may not be ready.
Okay.
I think women can understand this example. You may be with someone, a significant other, and it feels safe to be intimate with them, but you're like, nah, really want to, not really ready to for whatever reason, right? So it's very similar to that, I think. And so how ready is the subconscious body to release this? Is it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Okay, so you're at a 6 to release it. And is there something that we can release so that she can be 10? Yes. Okay, so the first thing that comes up is an emotional trauma. I'm going to check and see how old you were when that happened. Okay, so you were 18 when that happened. Can we release that? Yes. Okay. And is there something else? Yes. Okay. Okay, so the next thing that's coming up is another trapped emotion. This one is inherited. And it's trapped emotion of grief. I find that that emotion is the one that comes up the most on people that I work with.
Really?
Oh my gosh, it comes up so much. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we can release that. Okay, so it was inherited from your mom, from your dad. Okay, so this one again was from your mom. Let's go back more than 1 generation, more than 3, more than 5, more than 7. Let's go back 6 generations. Okay, 6 generations. Okay, what was the other one? How many?
6.
Remember? It was 6. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, it's consistent.
On
we
one
release
side.
it. Right. Yep. Okay. Okay. And how ready is the subconscious body? 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we got something else. What else can we release? Okay, so there's a physical trauma that's come up, and physical trauma happened. So around the age of 9. And when physical traumas come up, a lot of times people are like, nothing really happened then. It could be as simple as you stubbed your toe. And of course, you're not going to remember that. But at the time, like you may have stubbed your toe and like you did it in front of people, like your classmates, you know, like you kind of tripped and like you're embarrassed. Well, you're not going to remember that 20, 30 years, 40, whatever, however many years later, right? But it was some kind of, you know, physical trauma that like you internalized. And so
I think I fell and got a concussion at age 9. I mean, I know that happened. I think I was 9 when that happened.
Nice. Yeah. And other times you're like, yep, I do know what happened then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was working on someone the other day who she'd never heard of this stuff at all, and I was just showing her because they're going to be helping me with my business stuff. And so she had this literal like pain in her butt, and she was like, we decided to work on them was more the lower back, and it came up something that there was like an accident at like 46, and she's like, that's when I fell down the stairs. I was like, oh, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I like it when it actually aligns and people are like, what? How would you know that?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Okay, so how ready is the subconscious body to release what's not in alignment? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now the subconscious body is at 10. So I'm going to ask, is there anything else that's preventing Deb from releasing what's not in alignment with this statement? I'm meant to be wealthy so I can do more good in the world. Okay, so there's nothing else. So can we release this misalignment? Yes. Okay, so that statement, right, I'm not meant to be wealthy so I can do more good in the world, is, we're going to check and see what the energetic charge is. It's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're at a 10 now for that statement.
Hooray.
Right. And so what I normally do when I'm working with people is next session, I would go in and check that, because just like with braces, like you can get them aligned, right? And then you have to go back and get little tweaks until they're like set, right? That's what I do when I'm working on somebody's, make sure that statement, I'll check a couple of times, make sure that statement stays at the set point that we want it as. And so that's a very simple way. I mean, we blew through stuff, and Deb and I have been, you know, Deb's had a lot of work done on her. So like less stuff comes up once you've had a lot of work done on you. But if you've never had this work done, you know, it can take us, you know, longer just because there's more stuff. And, I always work like with working with people with releasing their heart wall first, because it makes it so much easier. And we have other episodes about that. And if you want me to send you the link to that, just shoot me a message. I could do that. But this, the body code is really great to be able to take those practical things. And that's what I like about this form of energy work, because it's, as you saw, it's very practical, right? Of like, oh, there's a physical trauma, there's emotional trauma. Mm-hmm. And then we can release it and let it go. And as wackadoo as it all sounds, like we said, it works. Mm-hmm. And you got to put in the work too, especially like with something like this, like with money. I had a client one time who wanted to work on, like, she wanted to make like $1 million in a year. And what her current business would not do that. And I was like, well, what are the things that you need to do to make that happen? And she's like, well, I just wanted to, happen to not change anything different than I'm doing. And I'm like, I'm not working on you, not on that, right? Yeah. Like, you have to be willing to meet it both ways. So do you have any questions, Deb, about any of the stuff that came up?
I don't, but I'm trying to think, like, because I kind of get it. I'm wondering if there are other questions that might have come up from anybody watching that would be valuable to hear. I guess, what we didn't really talk much about when you specifically said there were trapped emotions. I don't know if confusion and sadness were both in lumbar two, but you said confusion was in lumbar two. So maybe we want to address like why it had a specific location.
Yeah. Yes. Confusion and sadness were in the lumbar two. And when we have a weakness in our body and an injury in our body, right, then continual like weaknesses will go to that point, right? Because it's already a weak spot. And so like a lot of times the people that I work on, you can see the same areas coming up over and over again. My stuff is always typically in my shoulder, right? Because I had a physical injury there, and then there's a ton of emotional trauma that's stored up in there. And so whenever I have issues, I always feel it right in my back. And most people probably say, oh, well, when I get stressed, I feel it in my shoulders, or I feel it in my neck, or I get headaches, right? That's, we all have certain weak spots that we deal with as humans, and it just, will go to there. It's kind of like, I would say like having a dog now, I keep seeing like these, like, dust balls, like going to certain parts, of the room. And I guess it's kind of like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the corners. Yeah. I mean, that's interesting to me because I've never noticed any back issues. So I don't know that, I mean, I've never noticed it, but it may be minor. I do know that we had some stupid exercise we were doing in my workout on Thursday that I thought, is this killing everybody's low back? But I did notice everyone looked like they were pained. So I don't think it was just me.
Well, and interesting enough is that low back issues, when it comes in the metaphysical world, and I don't know everything within the body, but one thing I do know is that within the metaphysical world and the body, low back issues, when people are struggling with financial stuff and their relationship with money, it can manifest in the lower back.
Well, that is interesting.
So, yes. Yeah. So, for what that's worth. So just as we wrap up, and we did not talk about what we were going to work on specifically on here, but I am in the process of planning out a program, specifically work on a relationship with money, where it's going to be a 18-week program where we're going to have content, doing conscious level stuff and group energy work. And then the next week will be Q&A and implementation, and there'll also be group energy work on that call. So it's 18 weeks of group energy clearing. And in between there'll be individual work that you'll get worked on too, and you and your relationship with money, and still planning out the details, but shoot me a message if you're interested in learning more about that. And
super cool. I will say, you looked back at that thing from 2018, there have been significant shifts in my life since then. So for me to now come to you and say, oh, I want to work on the money thing is really just a next leveling it, right? Because we did a lot, and definitely I can see concrete shifts. So testament to it does work,
It does.
And also I have taken the steps, right? Like I did seek out and get a new job that I love. And I have continued to build my own side businesses and make some better decisions. So it isn't just the energy work. It is the actual accountability for yourself as well.
And take an action. But the energy work helps you to get out of the quicksand. Right. And at the same time, I do have some clients who still feel stuck in the quicksand, right? Because they keep wanting me to wave a magic wand. And I'm like, I can only do so much. It's like, I say this example all the time, but like, I can't have somebody work on my energy work on me for my energy if I'm constantly putting sugar in my body. Right? So
I think of it as like, it helps clear the path.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Like you said, it's getting out of the quicksand, but it's like the rope.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, the pull on it. Yeah. So for anybody who's watching, listening, if you have some things that you want to work on and you want to come on live and have us work on you, Deb is able to work on emotional stuff, like just releasing trapped emotions. She's working on her certification for the body code. So we can do that. We can have fun with it. So if you have something and you're like, well, I really want some work done, I want to understand how this works, but for whatever reason, I can't throw the money into it, like can't afford it, then let us know. And if you're willing to work, live in front of other people, we can do that. And
what comes up is what comes up.
Exactly. And I'm going to post a link after we hang up. I'm going to post a link if anybody wants to schedule and have an intro body code session. I have a offer where it's $29 for a 30-minute session where we can work on something specific for you, and you can get an idea of what that's like too. So any remaining thoughts, Deb?
Not for today. There will always be more.
Yeah, my one thought. So I tell everybody when I'm done working on them and I will always check to see how long it takes your body to process these emotions, right? And so I just want to check in. So does Deb need time to process this? Does she need more than a day, more than 12 hours? So 15 hours to process, and which is not long, but again, Deb's used to having the work done. It's been a while, but and process essentially just means that if you were on an operating table, right, in a operating room, and the doctor sewed you up, there's a level of inflammation that's present that is going to cause the doctors to not work on you until that inflammation goes down. So your spiritual body is, just had work and it's just got sewed back up, and it needs some time to just let the stuff move out. And so you want to process easier is to, one, drink a lot of water, just like if you have massage, and just let that move things out. And then the thing that I tell people all the time is, one, any emotions that come up, just acknowledge them. Like if sadness comes up, like, oh, I'm feeling really sad right now. And two, then accept, like, and it's okay that I'm sad. And then three, allow, like, I'm going to let myself be sad. Okay? And I know most people are like, I can't do that, I don't have the time. The more that you allow yourself to do that, the quicker it's going to move through you. Right. Yes. So acknowledge, accept, allow, drink lots of water, and just let it be. And then we'll check in. Maybe on the next episode, we'll check in and see where you are with that. And then go from there.
For sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for checking in, for listening. Let us know if you have any questions or any ideas that you want us to work on, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.